For many, they are currently snaking their way back home, or it was a long way home, of course, in that Easter traffic. For thousands of people, they were caught speeding, and sadly, hundreds of people were caught drink driving over the past few days. But what does a 16-year-old boy in South Australia, a 26-year-old in Tasmania, a 59-year-old man in Western Australia and 12 other people have in common? They all lost their lives this weekend. Think about when a couple or more people lose their lives, it's massive news. When it's 15 people across a weekend, we call it a toll. Now, as I've told you before, a car accident is how I lost my beautiful cousin, Gavin. His family, never the same, his kids, of course, without their dad. And I just wanted to say to anyone who's anywhere near 15 families right now that it's not a toll, it's not a statistic, and we know that. For some reason, the media doesn't ever seem to go back 6 months after these stories are on TV and talk to the families and see how people are going. It's a horrible realisation and an awful change to many families' lives. But strength and love to everyone who has to deal with the consequences of what can happen on the roads. A reminder to all of us that while 99.99999% of the time that we get in our car, we get where we're going, a little bit faster, a little bit slower. But for a very small percentage of people, they never get there. Sometimes it's their fault, sometimes it's not their fault, but in the end it doesn't matter because there is no journey left for them. Strength and love to all of those families. A tough way to start the show, but a little reminder, please, for God's sake, slow down.
Ultimately, our thoughts are with the family, the friends and the local community that will no doubt feel the impact of these deaths. Obviously, with some wet weather, different road surfaces, all of those things are what's important for people to take notice of and heed when they're driving.
So there is an idea being suggested out of Queensland in response to previous road tolls that maybe we all need to, every now and then, reset the knowledge part of our driving test. Now, I know this will be frustrating for some people, but I really like the idea. Reality is that if I had to sit this test again, I'd probably fail because, as we all know, and if any of us have had an L or a P plater anywhere near us recently and they bug you, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that, and you're 2 chevrons away and you've turned too early and you've turned too late, that maybe, just maybe, every 10 years, there should be an opportunity before you get your licence to be re-quizzed on the road rules. Think about the consequences of this thing of which we use all day, every day, of which we think we're good enough to teach the next generation of people to do. It's coming out of Queensland, and we'll see whether this happens or not. Surprisingly, the majority of people, 2/3, say no on the Courier Mail's website. Don't I know how to back a loser? But anyway, still, I think this is a good idea, because if it saves one life, then you know what? It was worth the punish for the rest of us.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean it's not a good idea. It brings you up to date on the changes since you got your licence the last time. Don't get it right the first time, you'll get another shot at it and another shot at it until you do get it right.